Brown. I'm the chair of the IFS of 2021. And I can say we are so happy that you've come out to this live event. And again, a big thank you to the tech and moderating team here, Sandro Grassa and Lorianne Sloan-White, so everything can go smoothly for all of us, including myself. So big appreciation, gratitude to the team. Basically, the flow of today for this live event is I'm going to do our housekeeping, which we're doing now. Then at around Pacific Standard Time, around 9:15, so this will go for about 15 minutes. We will have Dr. Paul Turek's lecture. Then we'll have reproductive urologist, Dr. Paul Turek. Then we'll have Dr. Olivia Pojer's lecture. Following that will start around 9:50 Pacific Standard Time. And then at around 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, we'll have a Q&A with Dr. Olivia Pojer, Dr. Paul Turek. And we also have another special guest on this panel for male factor Q&A. If you're watching this on social media and you want to be part of the Integrated Fertility Symposium, registration closes Sunday, May 9th. So the early bird and registration in total closes May 9th, 2021. So you got just a little bit of time to register. If you have already registered for the IFS and you are watching this on social media, get off of social media, log into the IFS website and go into the forums for live events and grab your Zoom link so you can join us in Zoom, because we're only going to play a little bit of this on social media, but all of this live event will be happening on Zoom, and it's only available for those that are registered for the Integrated Fertility Symposium. And yes, for those that are part of the IFS, the recording of both lectures and the Q&A will be in your accounts on the IFS website, and you have until June 30th to access that. I just want to have a big thank you to our sponsors, and a big shout out to the JNAP group. They are our platinum sponsor. You should know that there's several sponsors here, and what they've done this year to be part of the Integrated Fertility Symposium is we asked them all to create educational content, because we really wanted this to be about education. So if you go to the JNAP page, you can see they have some videos up there, a nice one on telehealth, a whole bunch of tips for electronic medical record keeping, and they have their specials. So if you're looking for some specials, check that out. And every sponsor has created really good content. So you just click on their page and it will open up and show you a little bit about their products and then the lectures they've created. And again, today we'll have Dr. Ashok Agarwal talk about, he'll be on the Q&A, and we will have him back to do a live webinar Q&A with us later on new antioxidants and male fertility. So just wanted to let you know about that. Another important part of the IFS that we have done is it's over all of May and June. So we've made this span over 2 months. It ends June 30th. Your access ends June 30th to the IFS. And we have all these different forums. And so for those that are watching this again on social media and you're part of the IFS, go to the forums, click live events. Here's the May 8th date. And if you click on that, you will get the link to join us here in Zoom. And again, if you haven't registered, you have until May 9th to join the IFS for all of May and June. This is the part that we're hoping and looking forward to discussions happening. So this is where we'll have our continued discussions. So just like at any conference, so much of the learning happens on our breaks. And so our hope, our goal is that you will watch a lecture like today, and then the discussion can continue inside the forums where we can continue to deepen our learning and our lessons. We did add a chat feature, because when you come to the site, you feel like you're all by yourself except for these live events. And so when you check on the chat, this lets you see who's online, and you can kind of just click on somebody and start either a video or a text chat, so you can kind of connect with each other. You can see right now there's 42 users currently out of the 400 plus that have registered. There's 42 users that are on the site now watching their courses, not part of our Zoom experience right now. So I just want to let you know that chat feature is there. Please note that, there's one of our platinum sponsor, JNAP's on here. You can create your name. Like you can see how I have Lauren Brown here. Some people have their username. What I invite you to do is add your photo and to update your username. Like some people, it defaults to your email. And to do that, you go into your profile, you click edit. And then the way you put your name under first name is how it will appear as your profile and when you chat and post in the forums. And then there's a place here also where you can edit your profile photo. So I invite you so we can kind of get to connect. It's just that sense to come on the website and then go, oh, look who's here. And then I know this person, I haven't seen them for a while. And you can kind of just say that friendly hello. Because of COVID, we've lost that opportunity to constantly connect with each other. And so this really is that opportunity. See you later. Sandro says, hello, welcome to the IFS. And his photo comes up in the chat. So it's a really feature that we wanted to add to allow for interaction and connectivity. Now, you can get to your CEU approved courses through either the lecture page, lecture menu, I should say. So that will take you to all the CEU PDA approved lectures, or you can click on speakers or dashboard. When you go to speakers, so if I go down here and I go to Olivia and I click on her, there you go. It gives me the title of her talk, which is part of today. And I take it here and it takes me to the page where I can do my CEUs for this course. And so as you can see, it lets you know what bodies have officially approved this course for CEUs. So you can see this, there's a little line here so you can scroll to see who's approved this and for how many or what types of CEUs for acupuncturists and for naturopathic physicians. And then as you scroll down, this talk, our title is Male Factor It Takes Two to Make a Baby, is comprised of two speakers. And so you click on this, this takes you to the handouts page. You notice once I click on the handouts, I have a new menu on the left-hand side, and I can download the handouts for Dr. Paul Turek, and I can download the handouts for Olivia Pojer. And so you can do that now, by the way, if you want to have these handouts during the talk. And then on the left-hand side is how you access the videos and assessment tools. Now you'll notice it says locked because we're doing this as a live replay first. And so these videos will be available at the end of our live event today. So they are available almost immediately. There's no reason to watch the recording in this simultaneously streaming because we're here together to watch it. But that will be available so you can watch the recordings again. We will add the Q&A portion to this by tomorrow. So the Q&A video will also be added. And really important, not only do you have to watch the course to get your distance CEUs, you also have to do the worksheet and quiz and course evaluation. So that's all part of the process to get your CEUs. And when you do that, when you complete watching the course and you do the assessment tools and the course evaluation for each course, there's 16 of them, the certificate will get emailed to you and it will also show up in your dashboard. So I clicked on dashboard, down on the left-hand side, I go to my certificates and you can see which courses I have done so far. Here's my certificates. So download your handouts and your certificates by June 30th, because that's how long you have access to this website is until June 30th to download your handouts, download your certificates, and to watch the courses. The good news is it emails you, so these certificates will be in your email. The dashboard is kind of your jumping off place. So when you click on dashboard or when you log into the site, it automatically defaults to this page. So you can see at the very top, this is where we'll have a link to the very next live webinar. So right now it is May 8th and it takes two to make a baby. It's the male talk with Dr. Paul Turek and Dr. Olivia Pojer. After today, it will be the May 11th talk, which will be with Sharon Weizenbaum on using classical herbal approach and safety in pregnancy. So this link here will take you to the forums, which takes you to the live events. If you're looking for a live event, you can either go to the dashboard, and this line's here. You can go to the forums for live events, or you can go to the live events, a link up here. 3 ways to find that. On the public educational, or on the dashboard page, is the public educational videos I want to bring your attention to. So when you click on dashboard, my courses, these are what are all CEU approved. Then we'll have pop-up lectures, panels, and Q&A. So this is where we're going to continue to add stuff in May and June that don't have CEUs, but are more of that educational buffet that we've created. We've created more content than we expect is really possible for you to watch by the end of June. But we wanted to make a real big buffet of educational courses. Some are CEU approved, some are not, So there's something for everybody. Just like when you go to a buffet, there's certain things you know you're not going to eat. There's going to be lectures here you know you're not going to watch. And then there's going to be lectures you're definitely going to watch. There's things on the buffet you're going to eat. And then there's things you want to eat, but you just can't do it in that sitting. And that's what this is going to be like for you guys as well. We have the sponsored lectures. So it's another way to find these lectures, going to the sponsored lectures. When you click on this link, it'll list the sponsors and the lectures they've created. Again, these are really good educational lectures. Check them out. And then what I want to draw your attention to is the link on the left-hand side called Public Educational Videos. This is really the motivation, the intention behind IFS 2021 online. We decided to put this online because we wanted to have a medium, a way to create public educational videos that you, the practitioner, would share publicly on your websites and social media to help educate the public about integrative reproductive care and inspire them to seek you out, because you're the one sharing this video, to come to your clinic to seek you out. And so we have about 13 of these public educational videos created by our presenters for the IFS, and we have a few experts outside of the IFS presenter list that have also created videos that we'll be releasing on this page. So do check it out weekly, and I will let you know that today we released these two. So Dr. Paul Turek has a short interview with me about male factor fertility and integration, and he's talking about basically what men need to do before IVF. We're aware so often men are pushing to or the couples are pushing to IVF because it's male factor. Nothing wrong with the female, but do IVF. And there's a lot of things that you can do before an IVF, like acupuncture, diet, herbs, lifestyle changes, that can resolve the male factor, and no IVF is necessary. So this is a great video to share with the public. And then Dr. Olivia Pojer has why sperm test is not enough to determine infertility. And she talks about other factors about integration for male factors. So this is a great public educational video to share on your website and with the public, because often the guy or the female is in your clinic and she says semen analysis is normal. Well, Olivia talks about semen analysis normal is not enough, and it actually doesn't tell the picture, and men are still contributing to up to 50% of infertility, unexplained, or miscarriages, and why that is not enough, just a normal semen analysis. Actually, she'll share how normal is not healthy anymore, even though it's normal. And then we have other lectures here from other presenters already. Dr. Agarwal has an excellent talk about how you can improve egg and sperm quality before IVF. Dr. Lorena White, who is also an OB-GYN, MD, IVF specialist, and a trained licensed acupuncture herbalist, talks about integration for treating fibroids and how to integrate acupuncture herbs in an IVF setting. And then we got Dr. Fiona McCulloch talking about PCOS. And then we got Dr. Ursula Ritz, who's an MD, OB-GYN, IVF specialist, and also trained in TCM and a fellow of the ABORM. And she's talking about acupuncture and herbs for recurrent pregnancy loss and implantation failure. So these videos are meant for you to go to the public education. They're all here, and we'll keep adding. There'll be about 13 in total by June 30th. And the goal is you go here, you click the share button, and now you can share this on your website. You can embed code on your website. You can share on social media. And if we all do this today, so we're watching the Male Talk, the whole idea is you as the health professional, this excites you. Yes, I can do this. I do this. But you may not be able to articulate it like the presenter. So we've created assets, these public education videos, so you can share these on the website and say, I treat like this. Check out what this doctor says. And we asked our MDs that are dual trained to do these videos, because if it's coming from a medical doctor in our society currently seems to have more credibility than it's coming from an acupuncturist for whatever reason. So we've asked them to do these public education videos. So this is available to you if you're part of the IFS. Check out the ones that are here, start sharing them. And please, today, can we all go and share Paul Turek's and Olivia Pojer's public education videos so we can start to inspire the public to seek us out. So I wanted to share that important part with you. The other section I want to show you, and then we're going to go to our lecture, is our conference calendar. So if you want to know what's happening, click on the conference calendar. You can see the blue background. The blue background is going to be live events. And so yesterday we had just a live Q&A with Susan Johnson. That recording is now up, I believe, on the website for you to watch the recording. And now her with me live This is a live replay of 2 lectures and then a panel with 3 physicians on male factor infertility. Then you can see on the 11th, we have a Q&A with Sharon Weizenbaum. So watch Sharon's lecture, because we're not doing the replay of her 3-hour lecture. We're just doing a Q&A. So watch her lecture before the 11th so you can benefit from the Q&A. We have a pop-up lecture on the 13th with David Euler. So that one, sign up for that Zoom link now. And then we started to put in the sponsor talks. And so I mentioned Dr. Ashok Agarwal is going to be on talking about male antioxidants, his research. He's very well published in this. He's going to do his lecture and a Q&A on the 26th. I've seen his lecture. It is amazing. So he'll be here for a Q&A, but he's also doing a full lecture on the 26th. And you can see we got Fiona on the 23rd. Lorianne, we got a blue this one. We got another live one with Leah Heckman on the 29th. And we got June. We are going to be adding more panels, more Q&A, more pop-up lectures. One of our pop-up lectures that is being scheduled for June is with an acupuncturist and a reproductive endocrinologist on vaccinations for COVID for fertility and pregnancy. What's the data showing us? And what do we need to know? Because patients, some are scared to get it, some want it, some are scared of COVID. There's so many questions. And what are all the bodies saying? And what is the data saying? And so this is a discussion that we have an REI and acupuncturist doing. That pop-up lecture will be available in June. All right, let's get ready for our lecture. So our topic today is male factor. It takes 2 to make a baby. We have 2 lectures. Our first one's going to be by Dr. Paul Turek. His topic is Back to the Basics, Why Treat Male Infertility Before Using Assisted Reproduction. Followed by Olivia Pojer, her talk, and she's a medical doctor trained in Chinese medicine and a fellow of the ABORM. And hers is on epigenetics and male infertility, why TCM could be the game changer. And Dr. Paul Turek, who's our first lecturer, and then we'll introduce Olivia in more detail. He is a reproductive urologist. He's the director of the Turek Clinic. He's been at every IFS in person, and now he's with us online. And so let's bring up his lecture. I do want to remind you that this is for educational purposes only. This is not meant for medical advice. It's for educational purposes only. And during this live stream on Zoom, please put your questions in the chat. We will collect these questions, and then we will bring these questions up during the Q&A after both lectures for our 3 panelists. Last time to remind you guys, maybe not the last time, but it's an important time to remind you, if you're watching this on social media, this feed is going to cut in a moment or two. If you want to be part of the IFS and get this and up to 36 hours of content, register by May 9th. Sunday, May 9th at midnight, 11:59 p.m., registration closes. We're with our cohort. And if you are already registered for the IFS and you're watching this on social media, get off of social media, get into the IFS website, go to live events, go to the forums, live events, and find the Zoom link and join us for the Q&A and to watch this together. All right, let's start this lecture, please.
Thank you for inviting me to the IFS again in 2021. Life is different, but so isn't this conference. It's always been that way, and I'm very excited to be back. And very excited about this year's theme, which is combining Eastern and Western medicine, because I've tried to run that bridge for a while, and it's not easy, and as you all may know too. But I have a very meaty Western economic talk here that is going to maybe change your view of how we approach male infertility. So my theme is, let's go back to basics here now that we've had such a rout of our lives, and really do what we do for men in Western medicine. Does it really matter, or should we always go to assisted reproduction? There's this quick motion to go to ART for an infertility problem, and that's a complicated issue because of the financing of things and all that. But then there's these mom and pops who try to take really good care of men and who we believe have a lot to offer. So I'm going to put some evidence behind that statement that maybe it's worth treating male infertility and not just simply going to ART. So ICSI, intracytoplasmic sperm injection, was invented almost 30 years ago at the time of the Endeavour rocket by Jean-Pierre Palermo, who's a good friend. And he was trying to inject sperm under the eggshell, between the egg and the eggshell. And because if you could maybe use 20 sperm instead of millions, because IVF, a lot of men were failing at IVF. And so he was trying to put it under the eggshell, and he missed, and he got the egg. And he did it 4 times. And that was the invention of ICSI. He watched those eggs separate from the rest. They did fertilize. He went to von Sturtevant the next day, and he said, I made a mistake, but 4 times. But it looks like these are developing. And von Sturtevant said, let's watch these kids because this is different. So this was eggs being fertilized accidentally with no experimental data to verify it, but it did do a lot in the last 30 years. It allowed fatherhood when IVF failed, when sperm counts were low, when sperm motility was low, and when there's no sperm in the ejaculate. We now know at about 10 years later that you can use sperm from the testicle, other parts of the body. So it's, I'm not complaining. It's very good, but I worry a little bit. And I was in the New York Times. As soon as it came out, we started using testicle, what should we worry about when we're starting to have humans choose the sperm and we're going to places where sperm weren't meant to be used? Luckily, by practical result, it's worked out, and it has impressed me how the quality control of sperm making machinery is very good. And I specifically refer to cancer survivors with very few sperm, and those sperm have been bombarded with chemotherapy, and they're still quite robust from a point of view of economics, of the genetics. So it did allow fatherhood where it never have occurred. It does bypass genetic infertility. It will pass it. It does alter natural selection because, I don't know, an embryologist, although they're well-trained, they're not God or Darwin. So I had a local meeting in San Francisco area. I think it was Resolve. And I proposed a session where we would take the ICSI embryologists and put them in front of patients, like from all the different programs in the Bay Area and San Francisco. And it was a sellout crowd coming in to meet the embryologists who were choosing the sperm for them. And it's so funny. I was like, I thought they were going to ask scientific questions, but they didn't. They asked, are you married? Do you have kids? Are you religious? All these basic questions about them. Like, what kind of person are you choosing my sperm? Are you a good person? Are you what's your moral, ethical fiber? And it was the most fascinating meeting. It was never recorded, but it was really very interesting about what patients care about because of this sort of fear. And so we know that the sons of ICSI, the sons of Y chromosome deleted men are Y chromosome deleted. You pass it on. The sons of oligospermic men are also oligospermic, have low sperm counts. That was published by the Belgian group. And the Belgian group has been great about following their births and looking for birth defects and all that stuff, because von Sturtevant, who's an amazing man, they've always been concerned. But it took center stage. No data, boom. No validation, no studies, no cost benefit, no medical value studies. It simply and utterly replaced medical care for both partners. And it doesn't cure infertility. It bypasses it. And the couple still has the problem. They do have a kid, which is great, and maybe don't care about the problem anymore. But it's just not classic medical value. So I'd like to talk about the concept of medical value, and because I think that's what we offer on the male end. I mean, ICSI's good, and it opened up avenues that have never been open for. But let's talk about medical value. Like, what about evidence? What are biological or sort of low-hanging fruit evidence? What about cost effectiveness? What about decision modeling, Markov modeling? We'll go through these. You don't know what these are probably, but they're standard ways of assessing value of medical treatments. So I'm going to go through what we know about male infertility and medical value. So here's one, stress. So, what does stress do? This is the best study I've ever seen. It's about 10 years old. 140 subjects. They're athletic. And for 60 weeks, they worked out 2 hours per day for 5 days a week at ViO2, a VO2 maximum capacity of 80%. So full tilt, working out, Olympic level stuff, working out for 60 weeks. And then they had a runoff period where they didn't work that hard for 36 weeks, about half that. And during the period when they started working out on the graph here, their sperm counts fell 50%. They were really healthy people compared to the controls. And then they rested them, and then they went to moderate exercise. That's high intensity. And then for 36-week recovery, they came back again. And testosterone levels fell by 40%. What does this mean? Well, this is physical stress. This is a beautiful study showing that extreme physical stress, whether it be financial, travel, emotional, physical, your bodies, basically, we're cave people, and that's our body's response. It's very primitive. It's either you're stressed or you're not. And when you're stressed by whatever, you do not want it. Conception is not high on the list, right? It's all a cortisol response. It's not a testosterone response. So amazing demonstration. It was also confirmed by military studies, but that's a simple one. Reduce your stress. What about being overweight? So also a low-hanging fruit here. I mean, not easy to fix, but obese men have more trouble conceiving. From a very large study, a Danish study, if you're slightly overweight compared to a lean person, your chance of conception is 20% less. If you're a little bit more overweight, it's 30 to 40% less. And in other studies, this was in Utah, obese men, if the sperm count, the percent of sperm that are low, or percent of semen analyses with low sperm counts are double. And then again, as the BMI goes up. So almost 16% of men with a BMI of 30, which isn't that far, that's mildly overweight, have a low sperm count. So pretty convincing data, validated both fertility and sperm counts, that being obese is not good for fertility. What about medications? Well, we know a lot about medications.